Alright, what's going on everybody? Not So Simple Garage back here today. We got another project. I've showed you before. We have everything we need here to basically rebuild this engine. And when I say rebuild, I'm talking about head gaskets and timing belt and every little thing in between. Basically making this engine bulletproof for the next 100,000 miles. That's what we're hoping for. We'll see if it actually happens. I've been having a lot of issues with Subarus lately in this cold, and it's been pissing me off. But it happens. We're not used to this type of cold. So we got the garage all nice and cleaned up. Got a lot of space in here. It's going to be sick. Got everything organized, ready to go. This is our buddy Devin here. He's going to be on the channel a lot more. We're basically going to do a collab on certain things. We're going to help each other out, just hang out, make videos together. He's going to have his own channel eventually. When that time comes, I'll make sure to link that channel so you guys can go check it out. He does a lot of stuff on other Subarus. He's planning on doing some Evos in the near future. Just together we're going to be doing some crazy stuff, along with like a front end swap on this car too. So there's some good stuff coming up in the future. So today we're going to do a video on how to pull this engine. And it is the same concept for most Subarus. It's really not that hard. Like, it's probably one of the easier engines to pull. I haven't pulled a whole lot, so I don't know if I can really say that, but in my opinion they're not bad. Once you get to know them, they're pretty easy. So basically you're just going to start out taking all this bulky crap out. You're going to take the battery out, washer, tank, air box, the rest of the air box. Once you get that clear, you can start getting at the bell housing bolts. You do have to go underneath. There's two motor mount bolts on the subframe. So you take those off, and then you go to the bottom side of the bell housing on the transmission. You take those bolts off that you can't get from up top. And then on your way out, what I do is I disconnect the exhaust from the block. So there's 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on this side, and it just kind of hangs down. And then on your way out, the last thing you do is you drain the radiator. That way you're not getting dripped on as you're down there and everything. It just makes a mess. You're going to make a mess regardless, but you don't have to be in the mess. So we're going to do a time lapse. We're going to update you as we go, and we're basically just going to go ahead and get started. So we'll kind of go step by step. And if y'all have any questions after this video or having any complications, leave them in the comments. I'm good at replying to the comments, and I'll do my best that I can to help you out. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Thanks for watching, guys. Alright, so to get started, when you're working on a Subaru, there's only a handful of tools that you need, and it's really nice. Biggest one is a 10mm, then you've got a 12mm, and sometimes you will need a 14mm. You need a couple extensions, like a 6-inch and a 3-inch. Sometimes you need to put them together, sometimes you just need one or the other. And then if you want to spend the money, go and get yourself one of these 3/8 ratchets. They're just like the absolute best tool in my collection. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. Devin's going to crawl into the car and get started down there, and then I'll show you what needs to get done under there here in a little bit. So yeah, let's just get right to it. So basically, we're going to take this plastic piece off the intake here. Okay, so there's a clip right here. In this piece is 10mm. You just basically pop this guy off like that. Put your prop rod back down. Set that off to the side. Now to get your air box out, it is a 12mm, so we're going to attach our 2 extensions with our 12mm. That should get us down there. Okay, so we got that out. And there should be 2 of them. I only have one. There's one on this side, one on that side. Okay, so we got that out. Now we can pop this up, disconnect it from the air box. You got this whole piece out. You can already see there's a big hole exactly what we want. So for the air box, you take the 10 millimeter. One. And then there's another one right here. Okay. So you got these two out. Basically, once I get this air box out, I will thread these bolts back into the stands here. Another tool you might need is for these clamps that go on the throttle body for the intake. It's an 8 millimeter, which makes it go a lot faster. Then you're going to disconnect any clips and hoses that are attached to the air boxes, or airbox I should say. There's one on the passenger side. There's one on the driver's side. Super easy to get off, and then you should be able to basically just roll this up and out. Like so. Easy. Okay. So as you can see, it's already quite a bit more open. I'll give you a better look here. So we've got a big hole there now, a big hole there now, and that's basically what we're doing, is just trying to open up this engine bay. So, all right, let's keep it going. We're gonna take the washer box, or the washer tank out, and then the battery. Most people would say to disconnect your battery first, but it's really not that big of a deal. Not really dealing with anything electrical yet. But let's just go ahead and do it. So take this washer tank out. Normally there's two 10 millimeters that hold this in. I'm missing like half the bolts on this car, I guess. There's a pump for the front wipers and the rear wiper. So you just squeeze this, pop it off, do the same for the white plug. And these are color coded. So green goes to green, white goes to white. And then you kind of tip it back as best you can. Pop your two lines off. Right, make sure you don't make too much of a mess. Okay. So we got that off. Just go lay it somewhere on its back.
Huh?
You get some good juices in your mouth?
Oh yeah. Oh. It's window washer fluid.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's fresh liquid drinking. Like, what the hell?
Oh, that's my bad.
Come on, man. Like,
Just trying to drip on the homie, you know.
I'm like, I couldn't tell what it tasted like. There's almost everything in here.
Alright, so disconnect your battery and then lift it out. Alright, sometimes there's a strap that goes over the battery here with two 10 millimeters that holds it down. Again, this car doesn't have that, so. Okay, so the way I disconnect this AC, let's kind of get these few electrical connections up and out of the way, get that out, so we can kind of move this harness back and out of the way, just like that. Okay, so the way I disconnect this, which leaves me a bracket to hook onto right here to pull the engine, is there's one 10 millimeter, no, that's a 12 millimeter, Sometimes there's 4 in total, but it looks like I'm seeing 2 or 3. So, in my opinion, the less the better. So let's go ahead and get those pulled out. Okay, so we got the compressor detached. We're just gonna set that there. Okay, so you just kind of swing your AC compressor, twist it to where you can set it in your battery tray. Okay, so we're getting kind of cleared up here. We're going to disconnect the throttle cables real quick. Just a 12mm to loosen this nut. Spin it all the way down, and then you pull it, it pops out. Then you have the blade to wrap this up and around and pull this little pin out like so. You've got that one disconnected. You do the same for the other side there. I just got this off, so now we got this. So I hook here and then I hook here, right there. So at this point we can start disconnecting everything for the manifold. So fuel lines, you know what to do. I just unplugged this plug wires. We have to get the radiator out before we can swing this pump over because this goes through the hose right here.
Yeah, and I can undo that bracket at least.
Yeah, so. Alright, come on, baby. You'll be good. See you. Come on, baby. You match today.
Basically, as he said, we're gonna prep all this stuff off to take this intake manifold off. I'm gonna wait to pull these fuel lines off, but so I don't coat in gas down there.
Yeah, it'll get me high for 3 hours.
Well, they go right where you're pretty much at in your face.
I know.
So I was just gonna get all the other shit off first, and
Okay. Should disconnect this O2 sensor. Damn it.
yeah. And then if you guys have a problem with ever like locating these lines going here, how I remember is the one coming off this top one that's out is always going to be the top one. So no matter what, on any pretty much Subaru setup, depending, that'll always go to the top one, and then obviously self-explanatory after that.
Personally, I've hooked up those lines backwards before, so that's actually good to know.
Yep, that's how I remembered.
I'm just kind of a dumbass on this.
If you're looking backwards, you just don't get fuel to your system and it literally won't start.
No, what you do is you send fuel through your charcoal canister.
Oh, you had to piss out that way?
Yep.
Dang, I stopped cranking when
I ruined my
after a
charcoal
while.
canister, and
yeah, because that's how I remember.
It popped emission codes for the longest time.
Wow. Yeah, no, I always, if it wouldn't crank over after a little while, I'd be like, all right, it's time to figure out what the problem is. But this is the best way, is the top of the filter will always go to your top one. Because that's your basically a return line, or your in line going into your fuel rails and fuel system.
Guess we are done under here, other than cool. Perfect.
Are you gonna want to jack it up and go down? We are done underneath.
Yeah, we can.
If you want. I'm a little shorter, so.
We can only go down so far though, because that's
yeah. But we can bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so then if we're good there.
At least come down a few inches is all. I'm just a tiny bit short.
Yeah, I know. We got short man syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, now I can reach. Okay, so all those fuel lines were pulled off. I need to pull these heater core lines off. At least this side.
Yeah, I'm taking the reservoir off and I'm just looking for 10 mil.
Oh, it's right here.
Okay, try and lift this bitch up.
Just sit back back in there.
I think we can kind of swoop it up and out. Are you fully out over there?
I'm stuck on something, so something else is plugged in. Oh, we got these. Oh, the sensor.
Cam sensor. Okay, so basically, there's a lot of stupid little stuff to do around getting this manifold off. The reason we have to get this manifold off is because there's a inspection cover right here on the engine, and that's how we get our torque converter bolts out from the flex plate to the converter. So we have to take this off, but we still have our bracket here and our bracket here that we can hook to once we get this off. So you basically just go around the entire manifold and you just go piece by piece, connection by connection, whatever needs to be disconnected. If something's attached to the block is staying, obviously you're trying to take this off the block. So it just takes some time and some experience learning what needs to do what. But it's pretty easy to figure out. One of your best friends when you're taking off these brittle lines, like for instance, I broke this line. I didn't want to bust out a heat gun. I'm just going to replace it. It's not that big of a deal. But if you bust out a heat gun and heat these up, it kind of makes them more pliable and you can get them off easier without breaking them. So just a little tip. So I think we're ready to pull this off. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. We got one thing left.
Okay, you got the coolant temp sensor. Yep. That should be it. Here, I got the whole thing.
That's that. Now we can get to our inspection cover. And we can get our flex plate bolts out, and then we can hook up to the engine and start popping it out. So get a 22 for the thing.
Yep, 22.
Yeah. And $400 brake block. Some snap on. Strap on.
$400.
Yeah, dude.
You gotta put it in neutral, maybe.
You good. Okay, you wanna hold that?
Yeah, I thought I would crank the car over a little. That's weird.
No, that's what I tried one time. It worked. So.
Yeah, no, I was curious now.
It's not like the same as a manual. So I think as long as the car isn't running, the converter isn't spinning. Therefore, that's all kind of free. I don't know exactly why that makes sense, but.
No, I get what you're saying though. You're probably right about it.
Drop that. Look at the magnet, don't turn it. So, right as I was just about to say, be careful not to drop these. It's not the end of the world because you're taking this all apart, but if you got a magnet, it's gonna catch it. It works out. So there's 4 of these little bolts. So basically you take one out, you have your buddy rotate it. You do it all yourself, but it's nicer to have a buddy with you. So rotate it until you see the next 12 millimeter, and then he's gonna hold it while you crack this loose. Okay, zap it out. Okay, and then he'll move on to the next one. So.
Put them under compression, so there you go.
There's 4 out of 4. So, what a dipshit. Basically, aside from these bell housing bolts that are all alongside the transmission and the engine, that is the only thing holding the engine to the transmission. From my experience, if you pull the torque converter straight out of the transmission, not only are you going to make a mess, but there's this snap ring that goes into the transmission with the converter. You can mess that up, and it's a very hard part to find. So with that said, start pulling out the bolts that we lost. And now that we've got the manifold off, we're not going to be reusing these heads. They got a different set of heads that are nice and brand new. There's a little ground on the engine here, so we need to get that off. 14? 13? I've never seen a 14 ground.
They're usually close. That's the market there.
Yeah. No, well, there's a butt connector on there, so.
Oh, no, that's a main plug. Yeah. Huh.
Okay, so basically let's hook it up and we're ready to pull this out. We're gonna clean up a little bit Let's get all the tools put back. We're gonna clean up the coolant under the car just so we don't track the coolant onto the cherry picker tires.
The ATF.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. There's a mess under the car. We made a mess. It's gonna be all right. It's not the end of the world. Coolant bucket.
But how much is in it? Those valves don't look terrible, dude. My mom's. Oh, they were.
Dude, the engine runs good. Like, it honestly runs good as fuck, but it's got 216,000 miles on it. So, and I don't know when the last time any of this shit was done. So it's time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before I fucking snap something and bend valves. That looks like fucking trash. That's disgusting. Well,
Dude, I'm a productive drinker, dude.
really?
Like,
That's bad.
I'll be up until like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, ah, shit.
Just drink a little more. I'm not tired.
Pretty fucking drunk, I gotta go to work still? Shit.
Okay, so y'all can see how we got it hooked up here. Got it hooked to this bracket here. Obviously, it still needs to be bolted down to the block. And we've got our AC bracket here. It's got a strap in there. It's doubled up, so it's double the strength. This should work no problem. So I've done it multiple times before. So we'll start lifting it up. Basically, you lift it up until it clears the studs on the subframe, and then you start splitting it from the transmission.
You want to take this wishbone bolts, loosen them a little, or not?
Yeah, let's actually take that bolt out.
Strap wasn't there.
Use the fucking top half.
Yeah. Oop.
God damn, it's amazing how stuck this shit is. I just leave it like that. And I don't know, I only jack up the transmission so far.
Well, when you're braking it, it'll lift up with the cherry picker a little bit, but no, I get what you're saying. You
Transmission?
obviously, yeah, it's connected right now.
Yeah, so what I do is I put a jack under it with a 2x4 to spread across the pan,
Yeah.
and then jack it up a little bit to where
Yeah, but never obviously up to the clips.
Yeah, I've gotten it up as far as it'll go before, and like I've never f***ed anything up. However, on my buddies that I did that swap in, I didn't put a 2x4 across the pan, and I fed the pan, and it made it to where the temp sensor.
Automatics though, only, yeah, okay.
It made it to where the temp sensor was grounding out on the pan and causing the light to flash.
So on my STI, when I had this connected, I fucking bent right here. That is one reason why I redid my motor, because I didn't notice it, and I drove it one day, and it's because right here was bent, so it's just going back and forth like that under the torque. And so I thought I blew my motor, so I pulled my motor, rebuilt it, went to put it back in. I looked at Cal, and I'm like, "Did you fucking do this?" I fucking lost it. I lost it, dude. So I basically did a full rebuild on the STI just because it's something stupid. That's one reason why I do that now. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
But it's like,
I mean, it'll be fine. Stock motor, so like.
but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter on that. It's more the if it takes. Yes.
Yeah. You want to clean that up a little bit?
Yep, we're good. We're all equal.
Getting it. Okay, maybe
Maybe
we'll
hit this in a little bit.
try and get another, let's just do a screwdriver.
Well, I can sit on this bracket and that top lip. So if you look, yeah. Well, I can have another screwdriver, that's what I'm saying, put it in there, and I'll pry it with that. You gotta be careful because that fork comes over.
Yeah, there we go.
Now I think if we come up with this cherry picker, because I'm split my side enough. Because now we're just working out those stupid little studs.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, when you do it enough times, you know what to do. Are you fully disconnected?
No.
Well, like bolts and everything?
Yeah, I just need this. It's those, not the studs, it's those stupid little other ones I don't like. Ah, there it is.
You good? Okay. We'll drop it down, make sure it's supporting by the pin fan. Should be good.
Okay, yeah, and you can come all the way up. I have it all the way out.
Alright y'all, so hopefully that was a good enough video for you guys. It's really not that complicated. A tip and trick, before you go to put this engine back in, kind of, you know, clean these up, lube them up a little bit so everything goes back together easy. And then there's these two studs on the bottom. Last time I put one of these engines in, it wouldn't go together because these were all corroded. So basically when you got it back up in the air, use a wire wheel, clean them up, maybe put a little bit of grease on them, and it'll just make your life a whole lot easier. So
and also, what he was saying about these studs right here, if you're doing a new motor in it, you got to make sure that they're on one or the other, because if you have them on both, then they kind of hold you back.
Right, yep. Yeah, so you can't have the dowel pins on the motor here and on the transmission, because then it obviously won't slide together. So it's one or the other. So yeah, basically, we're kind of just letting stuff drain once the coolant's done. We're going to drain the oil, we're going to strip down this block, we'll do a nice time lapse on that and a little bit of a how-to. I already have these videos on my channel, it's the same thing, so if you really want to see those how-to videos, go watch those, I'll link them down in the description. They're great watches for anyone that's a first-timer doing this kind of thing. It's just kind of all the do's and don'ts and what to look out for, how to make things a little bit easier. So you guys get the deal. We're just gonna knock this out, get it done. I need this car up and running by tomorrow, so that's why I have these beautiful heads ready from the machine shop, just ready to go. That's from my buddy's engine that I just did the engine swap in. That's also on the channel. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get right to it. So hope you guys are enjoying the video. If there's anything you'd like to see more of, or you know, things we should or shouldn't do, things you want to see or hear us talk about, let us know. All we can do is, you know, do our best. So all right, let's go ahead and get right to it.